The doorbell rang frantically at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was exhausted from a long day at work, still in my pajamas, when I opened the door to find my sister-in-law Melissa standing there with a determined look on her face. "We need to talk about your bonus," she said, pushing past me into my apartment without invitation. I stood there stunned. "Excuse me? Your year-end bonus. Mark told me you got $7,200. I need it for my wedding." Just like that. No hello, no pleasantries, just a demand for money that I'd worked countless overtime hours to earn. My name is Emma, and I'm a 31-year-old financial analyst. I'd been married to Mark for 4 years, and while our marriage had its ups and downs, I never imagined it would implode over a work bonus and his sister's wedding demands. I'd been working at my company for 6 years, climbing the ladder through dedication and long hours. This year had been particularly grueling. I'd led a major project that saved the company millions, often working weekends and missing family events to meet deadlines. When my boss announced my $7,200 performance bonus, I nearly cried with relief. That money meant I could finally pay off my student loans and start saving for the future. Mark and I had been struggling financially. He'd been between jobs for months, and I was carrying most of our expenses. The bonus felt like a lifeline, a chance to finally get ahead instead of just treading water. But apparently Melissa had other plans. "I'm sorry, what?" I managed to say, closing the door behind her. "You need my bonus for your wedding?" Melissa rolled her eyes like I was being deliberately obtuse. "Yes, Emma. The wedding is in 3 months, and the venue just raised their prices. Mom and Dad can't cover the extra cost, and Jason's family is already paying for the honeymoon. Family helps family, right?" I felt my jaw drop. "Melissa, that's my bonus. From my job. That I earned." "So," she crossed her arms. "When Mark and I were growing up, we shared everything. That's what real families do. You've been married to my brother for 4 years. Aren't you part of this family yet?" The accusation stung, but not as much as the entitlement in her voice. Melissa had always been spoiled, the baby of the family who got whatever she wanted. But this was a new level of audacity. "Of course I'm part of the family," I said, trying to stay calm. "But that doesn't mean I have to fund your wedding. Have you considered scaling back the venue? Finding ways to cut costs?" Her face turned red. "Scale back? This is my dream wedding. I've been planning this since I was 12. How can you be so selfish?" "Selfish?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Melissa, you barged into my home demanding my entire bonus. Who's being selfish here?" "I knew you'd be like this," she spat. "Mark said you'd understand, but I told him you've never really been one of us. You always hold back, always put yourself first." "Where is Mark?" I asked, suddenly realizing my husband wasn't home yet. "He's at Mom's. I told him I was coming to talk to you." She pulled out her phone. "Maybe he can talk some sense into you." My heart sank as she dialed. Mark and I had been having issues lately, mainly about money and his family's constant demands. His mother had borrowed $2,000 last year that we never saw again. His brother needed $500 for car repairs that turned out to be poker debts. And now this. "Mark?" "Yeah, I'm here with Emma." Melissa's voice turned syrupy sweet. "She's refusing to help with the wedding." "No, I explained everything." "Yes, the family thing." She handed me the phone with a smirk. "Your husband wants to talk to you." "Emma." Mark's voice was already defensive. "What's going on? Why are you being difficult?" "Being difficult?" I gripped the phone tighter. "Mark, your sister is demanding my entire bonus. The bonus I earned working 70-hour weeks. It's for her wedding, Em. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So is paying off my student loans. We can do that anytime. The wedding is in 3 months." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "We. Mark, you haven't worked in 6 months. There is no we when it comes to my income right now." "Wow." His voice turned cold. "So that's how it is. What's yours is yours, but what's mine is ours." "What's yours?" I was practically shaking now. "What exactly is yours, Mark? I've been paying our rent, our bills, buying our groceries. And now you want me to give my bonus to your sister." "She's family, Emma. Family helps family. If you can't understand that, maybe you're not the person I thought you were." Those words hit me like a physical blow. For years of marriage, and he was choosing his sister's overpriced wedding over our financial stability. "You're right," I said quietly. "I'm not the person you thought I was. I'm not a doormat." I handed the phone back to Melissa and walked to our bedroom. I could hear Mark's voice getting louder through the phone, but I didn't care. I pulled out my suitcase and started packing. Melissa appeared in the doorway. "What are you doing?" "Leaving." I folded my clothes methodically, trying to keep my hands from shaking. "Over money? You're leaving your husband over money." I paused and looked at her. "No, Melissa. I'm leaving because my husband thinks it's okay for his family to treat me like an ATM. I'm leaving because he doesn't respect my hard work or my boundaries. I'm leaving because I deserve better." She scoffed. "You'll be back. Mark's the best thing that ever happened to you." I zipped up my suitcase. If this is the best thing that ever happened to me, then I've been setting my standards way too low. I stayed at a hotel that night, turning off my phone to avoid the inevitable barrage of calls and texts. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer and started apartment hunting. By the end of the week, I'd signed a lease on a small but clean one-bedroom apartment on the other side of town. My phone had over 100 missed calls. Messages from Mark ranged from angry to pleading to threatening. His mother left voicemails calling me selfish and saying I was breaking her son's heart. His father texted that I was tearing the family apart. But I also received messages of support from unexpected places. My coworker Julia, who'd gone through a similar situation, offered to help me move. My boss, who'd heard about what happened, assured me that my bonus was well-deserved and offered me additional responsibilities with a raise. I was unpacking boxes in my new apartment when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Melissa standing there, but this time she looked different. Gone was the entitled princess attitude. She looked defeated. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. "What do you want, Melissa? Can I come in?" Her voice was small, nothing like the demanding tone from a week ago. I stepped aside. She entered and looked around my sparse apartment. "The wedding's off," she said quietly. "What happened?" She slumped onto my secondhand couch. "Jason found out about what I did. About demanding your bonus. He was furious. Said he couldn't marry someone who would destroy her brother's marriage over money." I sat down across from her, not sure how to respond. "He's right," she continued, tears streaming down her face. "I've been so focused on having this perfect wedding that I forgot what was actually important. I ruined your marriage. I ruined my relationship. All for what? A fancy venue. You didn't ruin my marriage, Melissa. It had problems long before this." She shook her head. "But I was the final straw, wasn't I? Mark, he's a mess. Mom says he hasn't left his room in days. He knows he screwed up. What do you want me to say? That it's all okay? That I'll come back?" "No," she said quickly. "I know I can't fix this. I wanted to apologize. And to tell you something." I waited. Jason made me realize something. He said that real family doesn't take, they give. They support. They respect boundaries. He said that what I did, what our family has been doing to you, it's not love. It's exploitation. I felt tears prick my eyes. "Thank you for saying that. I'm going to pay you back," she said firmly. "Not just the money I demanded, but everything our family has taken from you over the years. It'll take time, but I'll do it. Melissa, you don't have to dash." "Yes, I do. Jason and I are postponing the wedding. We're going to save up ourselves, do it right. And the first thing we're saving for is paying you back." After she left, I sat in my quiet apartment and cried. Not from sadness, but from relief. For the first time in years, I felt free. Free from the constant financial drain. Free from the guilt trips. Free from feeling like I was never quite good enough for Mark's family. Over the next few months, my life transformed. The raise at work allowed me to not just survive, but thrive. I paid off my student loans, started a savings account, and even took a vacation, something I hadn't done in years. Melissa kept her word. Every month, she sent what she could, sometimes $50, sometimes $200. Along with the money came notes about her progress, her therapy sessions, and her growth. She and Jason eventually had a small backyard wedding, which she said was more meaningful than any fancy venue could have been. Mark and I divorced. It was surprisingly civil. I think the loss of both his wife and his sister's respect had genuinely changed him. He apologized, got a job, and started therapy. We're not friends, but we're not enemies either. He's dating someone new now, and I genuinely hope he's learned to set better boundaries with his family. His parents still blame me for destroying the family, but I've learned that's their problem, not mine. The family was already broken. I just stopped enabling the dysfunction. As for my $7,200 bonus, I used it exactly as planned. Paid off my student loans, put some in savings, and yes, I even sent a small wedding gift to Melissa and Jason. Because that's what real family does. They give freely, not under demand or manipulation. Looking back, Melissa barging into my apartment that night was the best thing that could have happened. Not because it was pleasant, it was one of the worst nights of my life, but because it forced me to finally stand up for myself, to stop accepting less than I deserved. I learned that family helps family shouldn't be a one-way street. Real family respects your boundaries, celebrates your successes, and doesn't view you as a personal piggy bank. Real family doesn't make you choose between them and your self-respect. My new apartment might be smaller than the one I shared with Mark, but it's mine. My bonus might have caused a family explosion, but it also freed me from a toxic situation. And my future? It's looking brighter than ever. Sometimes the most expensive price you can pay is staying in a situation that costs you your self-worth. That $7,200 bonus didn't just pay off my student loans. It bought me my freedom. And that's priceless. If you're watching this and facing similar demands from family, remember, you're not obligated to fund anyone else's dreams at the expense of your own. It's not selfish to keep what you've earned. It's not wrong to say no. And sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to pack your bags and start fresh. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember, you deserve people in your life who contribute to your happiness, not just your expenses.